Hey, how's it going today, guys? We're going to take a look at political parties as part of our campaign season here. All right, so the first thing we need to know is that we have political parties. The second thing you need to know is I'm going to put you in one, and I want you guys to have kind of a base understanding of where you fall on that scale. So we're going to do that political survey quiz and so forth and so on, but basically this is to help kind of place you and give you an understanding of your party's belief system. The objective, again, you guys are running that successful executive branch election in order to keep your jobs. Now, students, you guys will be able to analyze the importance of the executive branch, describe the functions of the executive branch, and compare the executive branch to the two other branches as part of this. I want to start today with a quote. So, in 1796, when George Washington left office, he left us with a warning about political parties. And here it is. However, political parties may now and then answer popular ends. They are likely, in the course of time and things, to become potent engines by which cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men will be enabled to subvert the power of the people and to usurp for themselves the reins of government, destroying afterwards the very engines which have lifted them to unjust dominion. And he said that in 1796, guys. I like it because it's kind of warning us about political parties. Now, political parties were well in place in 1796. Washington saw the writing on the wall. He said, "These are dangerous. Don't listen." But it didn't matter in 1796 when Adams was elected as the next president, the second president of the United States. We saw an election that had the Jeffersonians versus the Federalists. So you saw already that the political party system was in place, and it was two major parties. Now, since 1796, 220, almost 219 years later, you still have this in place. So over time, we've seen many different parties with many different things, including the Whigs, the Dixiecrats, the Know Nothings, the Prohibition Party, the Anti-Mason Party, probably one of my personal favorite, the Bull Moose Party, Natural Law Party, and the Democrats, the Republicans, the Greens, the Reform Party, the Communist Party of the United States. They're all there. Now, parties have become this important feature in our government, and without parties, who would make decisions on what politicians support? It's kind of a tough situation to be in there with that whole situation. All right, so kind of go over the roles of political parties real quick. Political parties, their roles basically run candidates for public office, check the other party, make sure the other party can't get too much control, inform the public. Well, obviously they're going to be tainted and biased in what they inform the public, but they're going to inform the public nonetheless. All right, they organize the government, so they kind of help us kind of run the government in an organized fashion, and they raise funds for their parties. I mean, there's five main things that political parties do. Now, you guys are going to be running a candidate for political office, and that's going to be kind of the role. So I want to take a look at our two major political parties now. All right, so we have two major parties. We have the Democrats and the Republicans. Most of you have heard that. President Obama is a Democrat. George W. Bush was a Republican. So the two presidents that have probably been in your lifetime have been one Democrat and one Republican. Each has served 16 or 8 years. So together they'll have 16 years of your life so far. Before Bush, we had George Clinton, not George Clinton, but Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton was also a Democrat. All right. The Democratic Party was founded in 1828, and the first president in the Democratic Party was Andrew Jackson. They traced their roots back to Madison and Jefferson as sort of the Jeffersonians, the Jeffersonian Democrats, the Democrats. They kind of evolved from that, but then they definitely took root to that. Now, with Andrew Jackson as their first president, they were a very Southern party. They actually supported slavery for a long time. All right, they were anti freedom for a lot of people in our country because of that. But that would take a significant shift in 1960 when John F. Kennedy won the Democratic election. All right, he won the nomination, and then he beat Richard Nixon in the general election there and became the president of the United States, and that's when the Democratic Party started to really kind of shift into the party that we see today. And we'll go over that next. The Republican Party, on the other hand, was founded in 1854, and Abraham Lincoln was their first president. So you can kind of see the huge differences there just in our presidential history of Andrew Jackson and Abraham Lincoln. Founded as the anti-slavery party. They were really anti-slavery. They were founded in the Midwest, in the Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan area, right? That was the huge base of the Republican Party party to start, and they're sometimes called the Grand Old Party or the GOP. And again, after the election of 1960, with the election of JFK as the Democrat, we start to see a shift in Republican ideas. So some Democratic ideas. You guys will notice the Democratic Party is traditionally characterized as the donkey. All right. Now, what you see is you'll see them wanting to expand safety net programs. We want to see programs that support the people that have had bad things happen to them. They want to increase the capital gain tax. They have a feeling that, like, people like, for instance, Mitt Romney, who pay a smaller tax percentage than many working Americans because his tax money or his income comes in as a dividend from stock investments, should be paying more. They want to increase the minimum wage. They support universal health care for all. They want to see cuts to defense spending. They want to support voting rights and access for all people. They want stricter gun control, and they support immigration reform with citizenship. So these are kind of those ideas that the Democratic Party supports. Now, up next, you're going to take a look at the Republican Party, characterized as the elephant, right? And they support safety net program in another way. They're huge believers of supply side or trickle down economics, right? And this started really with Reagan as, I'm going to support the businesses and give the businesses breaks so that they can then hire the workers, and we don't have to have as large of a safety net. They generally oppose labor unions. They support schools of choice like charter schools, like what we are. All right. They increase them. They support increasing the minimum wage, but not quite as high as the Democratic Party does. They oppose universal health care. They don't want to see a single payer, but they kind of don't necessarily. They very much disagree with Obamacare, but they don't necessarily disagree with healthcare reform. They don't want to cut defense spending. They do not support gun control, and they support immigration reform, but they don't want to see citizenship opportunities granted to those immigrants. So with that, that's just kind of a basic introduction to political parties, and I want to thank Slides Carnival once again for the access to these slides. All right, so but definitely really pay attention to this as we start getting going, and that's an important step for us to take. All right, thanks for watching. Take care.